guys, Christian here again with MBS Fitness and Elite FTS. Today we are going to talk about, on shooting from the hip, being a new strength athlete and trying to lift and train like one of your role models. And we're going to go over the pros and cons of this. I've seen this a lot lately, especially with social media picking up, Instagram, Facebook, and all of these platforms that really good lifters are using to get their name out there and help people, but also show people their style and everything of that nature. So first we're going to go over the pros for this. I made a video a little while back that was shot with Elite FTS about the differences, pros and cons with online training and personal training. Being a new athlete in the strength realm and trying to lift like your role models, this falls into the pro category for me because you can now contact these individuals and train like them. You can, and by that I mean you can implement their training style or potentially templates that they have followed to get to where they are. That doesn't necessarily mean that their style of training is going to work best for you, but if you appreciate them as an individual, if you like how they coach and they resonate well with you, this is an opportunity for you to work with an elite level athlete and learn from them through their coaching. The second pro that will come along with that is motivation. If you're paying someone that is a role model to you to program for you, you are now going to be more motivated than if you are doing a program that you looked up yourself, because now you are invested, one, monetarily, but two, because you look up to this person, you're going to want to do what they told you to do because they took the time out of their work schedule and training schedule to sit down, and if they did it right, look at your strengths and weaknesses and make a program specific for you to aid you in getting stronger while implementing their methodologies and their style of training. Along with the pros, also are going to come the cons. And unfortunately, this video is kind of spawned because of the majority of cons I am seeing on this topic at my facility and other facilities just by checking out social media. So when you have a lifter that's an elite level lifter and they have a certain style, that style also will determine their setup and their form. If you have good form, you're in a good place. Everyone can get into a certain stance for bench press, for squatting, for deadlifting, and for them that is the best stance because one, it's a comfortable setup for them, and it is the best for their leverages. Their style and setup may not be the best for you as a beginner lifter if you're not at that elite level yet. And what I mean by that is if I'm trying to mimic some of my peers that I look up to that are in the same weight class as me, if not different weight classes than I am, and I am trying to change my current setup to mimic theirs, and it actually makes my leverages worse, I'm doing myself a disservice. So although they may be a role model or they're someone that you look up to, that doesn't necessarily mean that their setup and style getting ready for a particular lift is going to be best suited for what you need. Also, going back to the topic of them being an elite level lifter, chances are they've been doing this for years. And when you do things for years, you learn what works for you and what doesn't. So if you see an individual that you highly respect or highly look up to in the sport doing a certain movement, and then you go out and try to do that exact same movement and be like, oh, this is going to help me. Again, not necessarily going to help you. It actually could hurt you. It could make you weaker. If you repeatedly do that, I mean, you could even get hurt. There's always a progression to everything. And if you're an elite level lifter, you have now gotten to the position and the stage where you need different means for adaptation. Whereas if you're a beginner or an intermediate lifter, you might not be at that level to use those means to build your strength. You might be way earlier on in your training age where bands, chains, deficits, pauses, eccentrics aren't necessarily the best thing for you right now, and it could be something that may be a little bit more basic that you need. So, on that point, I would say don't necessarily be so concerned about, oh, they lifted it like this and their setup is this, I need to do the same thing. You learn how to lift which is comfortable and puts you in the best position every time. Every set, every rep, make sure it's the same and that it's comfortable, because if you're trying to mimic someone and you're in an uncomfortable position, that's not benefiting you and you could be making yourself weaker. This will teach you and allow you to learn your leverages, get your stance and form to develop and not force it, which in turn could put you at a larger setback than if you would actually allow these things to develop and you kind of not adopt but form your own style. So this was just on my mind after seeing a few posts on social media lately, and that's why I decided to shoot from the hip on it.